Not one, not two, but three reasons why I have my players keep track of rations. So contrary to the video where I talked about things I give my D&D parties because there's just certain things in the game I don't want to deal with, like a bag of holding because I don't care about my players tracking encumbrance. So yes, it seems a little weird that I would keep track of rations, but the third reason is actually a big benefit to the players. First, if you like D&D and TTRPG content, you like corgis, and random taco butt pictures, hit me with a follow. I'm happy to go into details about how rations work in my game, but the gist of it is that I borrowed this from Baldur's Gate 3 like many things. And I'm happy to make a separate video on the specifics of it, but the gist of it is that each player, while out on the road, must have 10 rations per player per night in order to get a full long rest. This leads me to reason number one why I have rations in my game, and that is it just gives players something to find out in the world, or buy, or whatever. As a Dungeon Master, we try to provide some variety in the kind of things that our players can find out in the world. You can only go through so many encounters where they find gold, maybe an item or two, or a potion. Rations and food items are just a very common, practical, and useful thing that players can find after, say, an encounter. Hey, nice job defeating those goblins. They didn't have a lot of gold or a lot of, items, but they had a lot of beef jerky. The second reason I have rations in my game is it allows certain classes an opportunity to shine. Actually, this is something that came up just last night in a game I was DMing. Players were out on the road and trying to take a long rest at night and realized they were coming up just short of enough rations. So they did what any group would naturally do, go hunting and foraging. One of my players in this campaign is a ranger, and we just so happen to be in their favorite terrain, which, thanks to the Natural Explorers perk, allows them to, when foraging, you find twice as much food as you normally would. Thanks to the ranger in this perk, now the party has more rations than they needed. The third reason and the beneficial thing that players can use them for in my games is quick short rests. According to the official D&D rules, it takes an hour to obtain a short rest. Depending on the situation, Dungeon Masters will sometimes roll a random encounter to see if the short rest is interrupted in some shape, way, or form. This is especially true if players happen to be in a dungeon of some type. Now, in my games with my ration rules, players can consume 5 rations to take the hour-long short rest and cut it down to 15 minutes. But more importantly, what this does is it circumvents any opportunity that I have as the DM for a random encounter. Well, mechanically, the short rest happens instantly, but I just say 15 minutes to allow players to do any kind of short RP or anything. This seems very in the spirit of what a short rest would be. Just to recap, the 3 reasons I have rations in my game are 1, allow players to find something different in the world, 2, allow for certain classes an opportunity to shine, and 3, allow players to circumvent any dangerous situations, particularly in things like dungeons. Well, anyway, I hope you found this useful, and I hope everyone has a great rest of the week, and there, Taco Bell, to end the video right there. Yay.